Six Sages Gaming is brought to you by GamersGauntlet.net. Check them out for all your single, sealed product, and playmats.
Hey guys, welcome to another Deck Spotlight brought to you by Six Sages Gaming and GamersGauntlet.net. Today we have for you the Tree deck that actually placed top 8 at ARG Detroit and actually did very well too in the Montreal AGP event. Shout out to Cory for his Abzan or Wind Dark Light Tree deck as well. So a lot of people have been asking for this. Our bad on just now getting back to it. So Darryl has absolutely loved this deck, so I'm actually going to be tossing it to him to go do the card-by-card analysis. So first we'll talk about the ruler, then we'll talk about the stone base, and then lastly we'll talk about the main deck and a little bit about the choices and why he took those cards. So up first we have the ruler for you guys.
Alright guys, this is the world-famous tree, Yggdrasil, the world tree. It's a ruler. It doesn't really do anything except save your life, essentially. So it says that when you would take damage from a source that an opponent controls that would kill you, you go to 1, and you get to look for Blade of the Seven Lands, Excalibur X, and Avatar of the Seven Lands, Alice. And other than that, it doesn't do anything but call stones and save your life. It doesn't seem like it does much, but it's a really good safety net for what this deck is trying to do, and you know it's pretty much what the deck is built around. Alright, we're going to talk about the stone base a little bit. We run 4 Magic Sona's Black Silence. The deck does have a couple double black spells in it, and you can never have too much green. So 4 was a pretty good number for these. Let's slide these out of the way here. We've got 4 Gusting Skies. Again, same thing, double white, green, can't have enough green, green is love, green is great. And we have 2 Moonshade Stones. These are good for paying a little bit of life for your mana fixing, and then we do have some cards that actually care about moon. Normally I hate stones that you have to pay life to get mana out of, but when you run tree, you can actually use your moonstones to help decide when tree gets triggered. So, okay, we're going to move on to the 1-drops. Oh, well, nope, we've got a horn. We've got a 0-drop, boys. It's just a horn. You know, you're playing a control deck. The game's going to go on long. You know, playing your deck twice in one game is pretty good. Most good control decks start with 1 horn and then 39 other cards. For our 1-drops, we have the lowly Wall of Wind, the card that is just so great. Awesome things that I've hit with Wall of Wind. Incarnated Cthulhu, that felt great. I hit a Gwyber with it once, that also felt fantastic. I mean, it doesn't seem like much, but getting through the early turns is really important, and this 1-mana spell can essentially time walk your opponent and make their turn nothing more than draw a card, tap your stones, and pass. For the 2-drops, we run 2 Dreams of Juliet. This card is awesome because of all the things that it does. You can get around really annoying additions. You can blink your Celestial Wing Seraph and get another Lucifer, which is great. And, you know, being able to draw a card is also pretty sweet. So, just a good card all around. Does the things you want it to do. 2 Zeeks. I originally had 4 in the list, but I don't think Zeeks is super great right now. I think you need to play some number of them in this deck, but 4 is probably too much. So we just decided on 2. We've got our Cake Zones. Or Absolute Cake Zones, I'm sorry. Just another counterspell that can get, you know, a little extra value with off of the Gretels. So I don't know if you picked up on a theme here, but we're trying to counter a lot of stuff. We have Foment of the World Tree. This card is probably the biggest reason why I'm not running blue, because I think this card does a decent replacement for Cat. Because it gives you the same sort of card filtering and you gain life. And I'm not saying this card is better than Cat. Cat is great, but in this deck, I did not want to play blue just for Cat. So this card is a decent replacement. Moving on, we got our Sign to the Future. Obviously, this card's great. We all know how sweet this card is. We don't actually play that many Resonators in the early game, so this card is a lifesaver against early aggressive decks. And yeah, I mean, the card's just great. I mean, it's Sign of the Future. I don't know what else there's to say about it. The card's sweet. Then here is more of our removal. Force Stoning to Death. There's nothing glamorous about this card. The card does what this deck needs it to do and just get you through those early turns, kill their dudes. So our 4 Gretels. This is Matt's edition. I'm going to give Matt Cosmore a shout out for saying you should put Gretels in here. I put Gretels in here and they're great. I mean, ramping is always good. You know, you live the dream of playing a Gretel, flipping over a Windstone, and then Wall of Winding their play, and it's great. And you just feel so good about yourself when you do that to someone. Then the new hotness from TMS, the Seal of Wind and Light. I think this card is awesome because it's an unconditional counterspell that if you pay Moon, they can't do anything about. So, pretty self-explanatory what that guy's in there for. Moving on to the old 3-drops. We've got 2 of the Blade of the 7 Lands Excalibur X. This, usually you're just going to find this off of a tree, but, you know, if they're not doing anything in the early game, just casting one is it's never bad to just have hexproof. And having the extra one early, and then triggering your tree and finding the other one makes your Alice gigantic, and just that much harder to deal with. We'll move on to the 4-drops, which is pretty. Our lowly Lucifers here. This card is so great. This card is incredible. I love this card. It's cool when you cast it. It's even better when you wait a turn and get it for free off of your Celestial Wing Seraph. This is one of those cards that I talked about where Moon is relevant. Untapping with this guy and giving him lifelink. I mean, against some decks, if I untapped with this and gave it lifelink and swung, I didn't feel like there was any world where I lost the game at that point. Card's great. The 5-drops. We've got a couple Arthurs in here. This guy's just great. If you're playing a creature-based strategy, this is probably the last card you want to see. I mean, it's essentially a board wipe on a stick. And it's another thing that you can do with Dreams. You know, if you can save it from getting lethal by Dreamsing it out. You know, it's great. And this card is the MVP of the deck, though, right here. The Celestial Wing Seraph is a card that can just, like, win you the game. Like, you play the card, you get the Lucifer, you make them sack their dude. If they don't kill it, and you attack with this and the Lucifer, I mean, you just gain so much life. And, you just put yourself so far ahead at that point. We're going to move to the 6-drop. The one and only 6-drop, the Avatar of the 7 Lands Alice. This card's great. This card is, I mean, it's just one of the reasons the deck works. If you were to take damage when she's out, it gets redirected to her. And she's gigantic, and she gets even bigger with the double swords out. You know, when they have to split just to kill your Alice, it feels great. Like it does, it just feels wonderful. But that's the main deck. And like I said, I think the deck's pretty good. I think it's a lot harder to play than it looks like it is. You have to really know what you're playing against and what's important to counter and what's not. I mean, it's just like any other classic control deck. You just have to know the matchup and cancel the important cards and deal with everything else the best you can. Alright, we're going to talk about the sideboard for the tree deck. I'm going to be honest with you, I geared this sideboard for what I thought I was going to be playing against. Sideboard is probably not perfect, subject to change, etc., etc., etc. So we have one Maribel. I put it in there because I thought at some point someone else might think that tree is good, and this will be my way of getting rid of their Excalibur. Just so my house will be bigger than theirs. I mean, it's a catch-all for all the other regalia. And in this deck, like, the second part of this card, where you activate it and turn it into a 10/10, is actually pretty relevant towards the later ends of the game, where, you know, you have a bunch of mana from your Gretels and the game just dragging out, and they cast one spell, you counter it, you still have all this extra mana before you untap, so you activate it before you recover, and boom, you got a 10/10 beat stick. I won games with this in Detroit. It was weird to me. I didn't believe it was happening. Here's the Elvish Bowman. The deck was pretty soft to Ame, so this is what it's there for. And, you know, it's our other annoying additions, but it's mostly there for Ame. Temple Monk. This is probably my Magic player bias coming through, but I knew that the rest of the team was going to be on red decks, so I played the Force of Will version to Erishan Cleric. Just gaining life, blocking their dudes. Probably not super great to play, but, you know, I did it. I regret nothing. I also have 2 of the Angel of Wisdom Cherubims, or Cherubims, whatever his name is. This card's sweet. Kills red dudes, kills black dudes. It's pretty great. Has flying. You can find it off of your Seraph. I had this card in the main deck for a while, but I think I just ran more counter spells instead of this. But this is definitely a really good sideboard option for a bunch of decks. This card, I don't know. Like, we were talking about it in the playtesting the night before Detroit, and Matt asked me how I beat J-Ruler base strategies, and I honestly didn't have any idea until I went home and saw this card sitting on my table, and I was like, this is it. This is how we're going to do it. It never really came up. The only J-Ruler-esque deck that I played against was a Kaguya's list, but it was just Alice's World with Kaguya as the ruler, and, you know, I just killed all their dudes, countered all their other stuff, and Kaguya wasn't enough to win that game on her own, but like I said, the sideboard's probably pretty not good, so just kind of gear that towards your local meta and whatever you think that you're going to play against, but overall, I think the deck's pretty cool. I enjoy playing it a lot, just because it's something different. Basically, the way that you lose with this deck is to Adam Broly. So, if your tree is triggered, save your counter spells for Adam Broly. That's the best advice I can give you. Adam Broly off of a black resonator will get around your tree trigger, and it will just kill you. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the deck. Play it. Tell me what you think about it. Tell me what changes you made. I'm always interested to hear what you guys come up with. And that's all I got.
So, thank you very much for watching, guys. Again, as all the good stuff, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what any changes Darryl said that you made to the deck. We really do like this deck. I think that it does have a place in the meta with some changes. Sign in the Future is definitely a good start. So, again, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next 6 Sages Gaming Deck Spotlight, brought to you by GamersGauntlet.net. Have a good one.
Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that like button and leave us a comment with what you thought of the video. Don't forget to subscribe to 6 Sage Gaming and check out some of the Deck Spotlights, Duel Series, and Force of Community videos that are already on the channel. We also have a Facebook and a Twitter, so feel free to find us there. Lastly, if you have a deck that you would like featured in a video, be sure to drop us a comment below. Until next time, take it easy.